be actually breaking down the entire thing that is happening the last few hours. In fact, it started all the way from Sunday, 23rd of February, and then over time it progressed to something more dangerous that we have seen in Syria. I will talk and break down the entire situation for you in a second, but let's actually take a listen at this video first.
When Syria's new leaders held a national dialogue in Damascus on Tuesday, their goal was to find ways to rehabilitate a nation torn apart by decades of war, a monumental challenge made worse by ongoing Israeli provocations.
Okay. So basically, they met for this conference to discuss or have a consensus on the political and economic future of Syria. This conference was held on Tuesday, 25th of February. 23rd of February, Benjamin Netanyahu, he made a statement, and he basically said that we have to demilitarize southern Syria. That came on Sunday. On Tuesday, just hours after that particular statement that we will be demilitarizing Syria, on Tuesday they launched airstrike on Syrian military targets. Very important here to understand the timing, because it looks like to me now that Israelis, they were waiting for this conference, or they were targeting this conference and its timing to send a message to Syria that we would not want you to take up arms against us. Now, it is not that they are sending a warning to Syria, but they are actually preempting the whole thing. As we see, Syrian government, the new government, is busy in housekeeping. Israel looks for an opportunity to destroy Syrian military as much as possible. Syrian economy is not of a big concern for Israel at the moment, but Syrian military is. When Ahmed al-Shara, he attended that conference and he talked about his country's position, he made his statement very, very clear. And he also sent a message to Israel that your aggression, your attack on Syria is not acceptable. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So what happened is, after Ahmed al-Shara, he made that statement, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah Sisi, he also came out and made a similar statement. What kind of a statement he made? Well, Sisi said that Israel attacking Syria or invading Syria or occupying Syria in any way, shape or form is not something acceptable. This is coming from Egyptian head of state. So we have to take that seriously, even though we know at the end of the day, Egypt will never ever go against Israel over Syria, never. But at the same time, things have changed so much. The dynamic has changed so much that Egypt now is fearing, if Israel can displace the people of Gaza, if Israel can go to Lebanon, if Israel can go to other part of the region in Golan Heights, those buffer zone, then there is absolutely going to be a possibility that Israel will go for Egypt, for the Sinai desert. And therefore, the fear of Sisi is legitimate. We cannot say, well, he is just a puppet of Zionists. He is. He receives a lot of aid from US, from Western countries. But at the same time, we have to see how the situation is unfolding. And the way it is unfolding at the moment, for Sisi, he's not feeling comfortable with Israel's decision to go after this country, then the next day the other country, then the third day another country. Egyptian president, he does have some legitimate reason to be worried about Israel's aggression and invading other countries. Now, what will happen? So, would Israel continue striking Syria, or would they meet any resistance from Syria? Well, at this point, any resistance from Syria to me looks like very, very unlikely. As I said, Syria right now is busy in doing housekeeping stuff. They're now forming a government. Therefore, they're not really interested in going after Israelis, especially when we see Israelis using fighter jets. There are 16 attacks that took place. There are 16 attacks on Syria by Israel, 16. 14 of them were by fighter jets, so by plane, by Air Force of Israel. Syria is not in any way, shape, or form ready to confront that kind of air power from Israel because it doesn't have one to begin with. Second of all, it is now forming a unity government, and Israel knows it. Therefore, they're hitting Syria as much as they can and getting away with it. Now, there is another thing that we have to also understand here. Number one is this: Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu, this criminal, he wants to save his life. He doesn't want to go to jail. It could be that he's waging this war against Syria today, tomorrow, another country, is because he wants to keep the country busy with war. It could also be because of what he saw with the hostage deal. It was a complete humiliation for him because of how the hostage situation unfolded. Now he agreed. He agreed to go with the second phase of the ceasefire. He has no choice but to agree with Donald Trump because Donald Trump is putting a lot of pressure on him, looks like, that you must agree on a ceasefire for the long term. I don't want to deal with the Gaza at the moment. I don't want you to go to Gaza at the moment, and this is not something I can be distracted with. I don't care about the people of Gaza. I wish I could kick them out of the enclave, but they're not gonna go anywhere. But nevertheless, I don't care about these people. So don't drop any more bombs. Don't waste my money on them. I'm done with this. Therefore, Donald Trump is convincing Netanyahu that he's not gonna support Netanyahu's effort if he goes to Gaza the way he did, especially in the last 15 months. This is a situation where Netanyahu is now desperate with the PR that failed, that backfired sometimes, and he now wants to engage in more wars. He now is thinking about going to war against Iran. There is a report that said that Iran is now expediting the enrichment for the nuclear weapon, procurement of enrichment, or whatever the terms there are there, in order to counter any threat from US and Israel if there is an attack. This is the whole point, guys. Israel is using their fighter jets to drop bombs on any Arab country they want. In other words, a time might come very, very soon when Israel would want all of these Arab countries to be demilitarized completely. It will include major countries like Saudi Arabia, Egypt. Not now, but in the future. That looks like to me is the plan. They would not want any of the Arab countries to have a military power that will threaten Israel. Period. And before that happens, now they're going after Syria. They are going to go after many other countries. You can mark my word. And with this development, it is looking more and more likely, ever more likely than what we have seen in the past.